Alrighty guys, as the gamers into the Dragon Ball Legends ToP guide video. This is going to be for season 92. Last season we ended up at rank 4,422, securing that juicy 1000 CC, thankfully, because Legends Fest is right around the corner. I only have like 4,000 CC to my name, if I'm being real honest with you, and I've yet to summon on the brand new Diamond banner, and I'm actually debating for the first time in my Dragon Ball Legends career to skip a banner. Well, I've skipped banners before, actually, never mind that. But anyways, this season is going to be a difficult season as per usual. I am not sure if I'm going to switch the team up or not. I really want to use LOE. I think actually this is basically going to be my message to you guys, telling you guys that I'm going to run LOE next season. How about that? We'll do regeneration this season to keep it like, you know, you guys are still getting used to the new fights and everything. They're still pumping out some new fights that we haven't seen before. And then next season, we'll try LOE because I feel like LOE has been super consistent, especially now that we're doing all these, the team changes, right? Ever since we rolled out the update, making the graphics and stuff like that, LOE has been pretty consistent with their main roster, and I feel like it's a very safe team to run, so I do want to try that out and showcase that for you guys as well. That being said, huge shout out to doomgeta, Aflac, everyone in the Discord server. If you want to show them some support and love, I will be linking some Discord links in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and show them some support. One of them is going to be the official Dragon Ball Legends Discord server, and one of them is going to be doomgeta's personally owned server. Without them, these guides wouldn't be as helpful as they are. And always remember, there will be timestamps in the description down below. That way you guys can go ahead and get to where you need to go. For example, if you're just trying to get in here for your regeneration team, then just skip to the regeneration team. And of course, one of the main things I always tell you guys about is get your friendship rank up. You want your friendship rank up at the maximum of 10, right? Maximum of 10, that's where it's going to go ahead and cap out right here. Like if I were, this isn't the team I'm running, if I were to run this team right here, look at my nail, that's disgustingly low. Why is he at friendship rank 3, Azdeek, is what you might say. And it's just because I've been super lazy with the friendship rank grind, if I'm being 100% honest with you. But look at the stat spread. So we have key restore speed 2612. Key restore speed is very important. Why? Because that dictates your attack order, right? It basically determines if you're going to attack first or last within a turn. If we look at the regular stats right here, the key restore speed drops down all the way to 2488. You're going to see an increase to all of your stats directly because of the friendship rank. And there's a couple ways to get your friendship rank up, of course. There's the Let's Fight events. There's that equipment that boosts like the amount of friendship rank experience you get. So definitely just try to just do your best at getting friendship rank to hand on all your main characters is essentially what I'm saying. And also get your equips up, bruh. You have certain equips that you need on your team. Well, not certain certain equips. So in the exchange shop, in this specific exchange shop for the rare metals, there's a ToP tab. The gold ones are obviously going to be the best ones. They're going to be better than the silver ones down here, but there's not enough. So each of these are dictated by your typing, right? So this one's, for example, is a melee type, and then this one's universal, can be on everyone, but it does have you have to have 7 stars or above. And then this one has no conditions at all. I like this one just because it makes your units a little bit more bulkier. Some people sacrifice this equipment to get a little bit more damage, like for example right here, that's more blast attack for a unit, right? So I guess that decision is up to you. Alright, so first thing we are going to be talking about is our pathing. So we have part 1 on the left hand side, part 2 on the right hand side, right? These do get split into 2 videos for the walkthrough video. If you just need the path, this is perfect for you right here. There is a lot of hard fights. As you can see in the first half, there's 6 labeled warning fights right there. And then in the second half, there is 5 for a total of 11 difficult fights right here. And this map is color coded for you guys, of course, for the win streak bonus percentage indications. For example, for the first 14 fights, your win streak bonus doesn't go above 50%. But once you start hitting 15, 16, 17, that's 100 to 200. And then once you get to all the way to fight 24, 25, 600, and 800 respectively, right? So that is something important to note. Once you get into that orange path, once you hit orange, that's basically when you have to start bringing out your high tier characters, your S tiers, and your Z tiers. So next we have our color wheel right here. We have simplified it quite a bit. You can see it's not as bulky as it used to be. It's a little bit more streamlined this way, right? So it is still numbered from your fights, right? So it's fights 1, 4, 6, 10, 11, 13, and you can see this is aligned with all the difficult fights right here. We're no longer just doing the fodder fights because it was kind of just it just kind of cluttered it, right? So these are just all the important fights, the threatening fights, right? So the orange and the reds, obviously the orange is going to be a little bit more tame than the red fights. So now you can see exactly what's going to be the most threatening colors, right? For red units, there's 8 threatening reds total. For yellow, there's 8 threatening yellows total. For purples, there's 10. For green, there's 5. And then for blues, there's 12. So obviously blue is going to be the most threatening color this season, right? So you're going to want a really strong green unit. And if, for example, if you, for whatever reason, you guys don't want to run a purple this season, I don't think that's going to be, that's not going to really hurt you a lot, because there's only 5 strong greens that you're going to encounter. And so next we have the cover prediction wheel as well. So this one also got simplified. It's only going to be showing you guys the difficult fights, right? So for example, for strike cover changes, there's a total of 14 in the difficult fights. That is a lot. And then strike arts counters, there's 2 of them, so a total of 16 for strike arts mitigation essentially. And then for blast, there's 8 cover changes and then 2 counters for a total of 10 cover changes. And then for universal, there's only 4. Right, and you can see exactly where they're going to be popping up the most. For example, like for strike teams, it looks like the Ginyu Force Saga is going to be the most nightmarish fight for you guys. That has 3 strike cover changes in it alone. Alright, so now let's actually go over some of these fights that you're going to encounter in the path. This is the second fight, I believe. It's the Mohawks fight. This one's honestly not too bad, right? You have like the main high priority units is going to be Android 16 and the Supreme Kai, but one thing I do want you guys to know is that the Zamasu, the blue one's always going to be your last attacked unit. And then also just keep in mind that the bottom row is going to be heavily debuffed by that blue Zamasu, so you want to stay away from that. So the next fight that we do encounter is this DB Saga team. I honestly don't exactly know what attack order I would like you guys to use right here. I just know the priority system. So high priority DKP, he's going to debuff your team on turn 2. The Path to Power Goku, he does have a strike cover change available to him. The Aider has a strike cover change for him, and he also has death buffs, and Bulma is generally a good support unit overall. So these 4 are going to be on the higher list for your priority, rather than the obviously the EX Roshi and the EX Tao. Those 2 are going to be fodder units. Alright, so next we do have the Ginyu Force Saga. This is the one where it has 3 strike cover changes, right? So Jason Birder have a strike cover, also tag unit, and then after that you probably do want to go for Goku as one of your high priorities. And then for your medium priority targets, Raccoon / Guldo, they also have a strike cover, and they heal. They have a heal for, I believe it's just for Frieza Force. And then obviously you have another tag unit right here, and then Ginyu he also has a strike cover change. Plus he's a revival unit, so that automatically makes the purple Ginyu your 6th slot unit, just because we always go for the revival units last. Then you also have this fight right here. This one isn't too crazy. You only have 3 high priority units. It's obviously going to be the Amonde, because he debuffs everyone if an ally is dead, and he has a strike cover for someone usually. Monray also has a universal cover change, right? So he can cover for a strike or blast. I believe it's still health gated. And then the Nabana debuffs the bottom row plus the middle slot for 2 turns. Alright, so the next fight that we do have is the Gohan fight. This one's going to be a difficult one. Thankfully, this is only a 3+ difficulty fight, but the first unit you take out here, I'm 100% certain, is going to be the blue beast Gohan, and then you want to get the red beast Gohan before he transforms, I believe, on turn 3. Thankfully, he's a little bit more of a slow starter. And then the rest of the units honestly don't seem too bad. If you're running regeneration / powerful opponent units, this one is going to be a little bit tricky, just because blue beast has buffs against powerful opponent. This blue free-to-play Gohan has buffs against powerful opponent. And then you have the support from this Gohan, who doesn't have any cover change. Thankfully, this guy does have a cover change. I believe it's for strike and for blast, and I don't think it's health gated. I could be wrong on that, but it's a little bit annoying. And then your only fodder unit really here is the future Gohan. He's not that strong, thankfully for us, but he does have a blast cover change. So next fight, you do have this rivals fight. This one, so Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken is going to be your top priority every time here, just because he's going to blue card you on turn 2, right? But also hit is a high priority here, right? Because hit will stun a unit at the end of turn, and once he gets below a certain HP threshold, he stuns again. So he has 2 stuns he could possibly use, but honestly, like 9 times out of 10, it's better to just get the super attacker out of the way and eat the stun, right? So, and then you have this free-to-play Goku fight. This one's also pretty easy right here. Only thing I want you to really take note of is the Super Saiyan 1 Goku. He gets stronger every time you kill one of his allies. The Super Saiyan 3 Yellow Goku, he has buffs against regeneration. And then the Super Saiyan 2 Goku, he does have a cover change for just the area behind him, right? So it's possible he's gonna be covering for either this Goku, this guy, any of these guys. He can be in cover change range of any of these 4 Gokus. He cover changes only on a blue card, right? So if you're trying to snipe out, let's say example, this guy with Boo Tanks, he possibly might be behind him. So it depends. It really just depends on where they're positioned at. And then next you have the boss fight, which is the Vegeta fight. So of course your #1 unit here is UVB. He does, so for strike teams, do remember that UVB counters 1 strike arts, and upon using that counter, he debuffs your whole team, and he has a 25% chance to double attack. After him, you do have to go after the diffusing Super Vegeta. You have to kill him before turn 3 because that's when he'll, you know, turn into Vegito, the Super Vegito. And then purple Super Vegito, he has a strike cover usually for someone. Blue Vegito Blue has the opportunity to double attack and has a blast cover for someone. Low priority is going to be the purple VB. That's the only fodder unit here, but your last unit for blast teams at least is always going to be the USV because he's able to nullify 1 blast arts, and well, obviously he nullifies it, damages you back, debuffs your whole team on hits, and then I don't know, bro, he's just cracked out of his mind. So next we have this LOV fight. I'm not too worried about this one. You guys shouldn't be too worried about this one either. You do go for, if you're running a blast team, you do go for this Frieza first, just because he eats 1 blast arts, gets 100% to a special move gauge, but he has a really low key restore speed, so you just let him eat that first blast and then you kill him in turn 1 and you don't have to worry about it at all. If you're running a strike team, you don't really have to do this. You can deal with this however way you want, but do remember that the Revival Frieza is going to be your last selected unit because of the revival mechanic, just in case you need to finish him with the rush. And so next we have the Fake Fusions version 2 right here. So high priority is going to be the Super Vegeta. He has high damage, gets more buffs at the end of turn 2, debuffs a unit when he attacks, yada yada yada. He also has a strike cover change for someone typically, right? He's a really recent unit, so he's probably gonna have really good damage. Then the Super Gogeta, he has a turn 3 stun / blue card, right? So he'll blue card you, stun you, all that good stuff. But turn 3. So you have time. And then of course the Legends Limited Super Vegito has a strike cover change for someone usually, and then he has buffs against regeneration. The last unit you're going to take out here is going to be the Ultra Omega. He does give out debuffs upon getting to a certain HP threshold. And then we have this Universe 6 fight right here. Honestly, I don't think this one's going to be that bad. I mean, you just go for hit here, right? So again, hit has the opportunity to stun 2 unit, or it's to stun you 2 times, right? So once at the end of turn and once he gets below 50% HP. If you're running Bootangs, for example, just get him out of the way right off rip. So next we have Majin Buu Saga. This one sucks because pretty much everyone here is a high priority target. Obviously the Buu duo, you don't want to get to turn 4 with these guys in play, right? So you have to get them out of the way, because if you hit turn 4 and they're in play, they're going to hit you with a Transcendent Kamehameha. Guaranteed, basically just huge damage. You don't want to let him do that. And then recent unit right here, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, he also provides good support for the team. He's not in the greatest position right here though, so at least his support isn't going to be covering the max range that it usually should. And then the Super Saiyan 3 Green Goku has a universal cover change. This Angel Vegeta right here, he is able to heal his allies. And then the Majin Vegetas, I personally feel like the Majin Vegetas go last, because the only time where it's worth it to kill the blue Majin Vegeta early is if you can get him before he transforms, and most of the time it's kind of hard to do that. And then the purple Majin Vegeta, he definitely, you get him out last, because the more you hit him, the more buffs he gets. Alright, so for the last fight, it is against regeneration. This one's super duper annoying. I honestly don't know what the attack order is going to look like for this one. But I can tell you that there's 2 strike cover changes. So Ultra Kid Buu has a strike cover change, and then this Mod Junior has a strike cover change, right? And then the Janemba has a strike counter, so strike teams definitely be wary of this. And then Janemba also has a blast cover change, and then the Cell up here has a blast cover change. Garlic Jr., obviously he has great support for the team, and he's going to double attack you. If you can kill him before turn 3, that actually might be huge, because that's when he transforms and he's able to get that double attack mechanic. And then the Demon King Piccolo, he starts debuffing you on turn 2, I believe. Alright, so that's pretty much all the difficult fights. It's a lot. There's 11 of them, so definitely do play the season carefully. Play around your blue cards heavily, bro. Save your blue cards for the difficult fights, no cap. Alright, so now before we get into the top teams, this is going to be the icon guide right here. I'm going to actually just put it at the beginning and just label it as its own timestamp, that you guys can go ahead and refer to it instead of having to put it after every single team, right? So of course you have the core units, you have your Z tier boost units, your S tier boost units, your star recommendations. If they have no star on it, that means they can be used at 5 stars or higher. You have the Zenkai icon for Zenkai units, right? They should be Zenkai'd. That is not completely updated stated though, I don't have the Zenkai unit on all, or the Zenkai icon on all the Zenkai units, so that's still a work in progress. Same thing for the healing icon, that's just for units that can heal other characters. And then if you have the strike icon, you have to set all your units to strike. If you have the blast icon, you have to set all your units to blast. And the units that you see under the backup ones are the recommended units to swap, just in case you're missing some of the characters on the main team. So if you're missing a boost unit, you're going to pick up one of the backup boost units, right? If you're just missing a damage dealer, just go into the backup units and then pick up another damage dealer. So the first thing we are going to be talking about is uni reps. This is going to be the blast phase version. We do not have a strike version for you guys this season. It's looking pretty rough for them. So for boost units, you do have Kaba, you have the Topo and the Dispo. They work really well off of each other. Kaba, I like him a lot because he is inflicting all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 20% of blast damage received. And then obviously MVP support is great. You have Bergamo as a core unit because he's buffing your max base HP. You have Kale as your healer unit, who's able to buff the row above you plus herself. You have Jiren turn 1 stun, which is always nice, and then Golden Glizzy. You always want this guy on a yellow tile because he is going to get a guaranteed special move on turn 1, and if you put him on a yellow tile, he can upgrade it to the ultimate arts, and on ultimate arts he's able to hit all enemies with all these debuffs right here, right? And on top of that, on the fourth turn, if there's 2 or more enemies remaining, you get another special move gauge that automatically turns into the ultimate. He's really good. And specifically for this team for this season, since it is super rough, I have included A tier units just in case you don't have the boost units. You want a total of 30%, right? You need a 30% boost each season, and the A tiers can kind of supplement it a little bit because A tiers are still giving 5%. So if you're running 2 S's and then 2 A's, that's still going to work right here. So the A tier units are going to be indicated with the orange arrow. Don't get used to the orange arrow. I'm not gonna list the A tiers every single time. I'm making an exception for universe reps because this is such a popular and widely used team. Alright, so next we do have Sagas from the movies. This is going to be the blast base version right here. We do have Pan as your core unit. This is your max base HP buffer right here, right? And then you also have the Beast Gohan. Pan and Beast Gohan is amazing. And remember, there's the blast icon right there. Swap this guy over to blast if you're going to be using this team. Gotenks has just incredible support overall. This Frieza has a turn 1 stun, which is really helpful. This same thing with this cooler. So double stuns right here. In your backup options, or in your backup units, you do have the purple Bardock. I know some of you guys may not have him. There is replacements right there, right? Because for me, I don't got that purple Bardock, that's for damn sure, but I do have the metal cooler. I probably would put the metal, if it were me, right? If it were me, or even the Bujin, right? Because he also has a stun on turn 2, so it's like you have triple stuns there if you want. It's right there if you need it, for example, right? And then Red Turles, he's a really good option right there. But even if you don't want to use the Red Turles, you always can use the Zenkai Purple Turles right here, he's a Zenkai unit, right? He's gonna live. And so next we have the strike version of said Sagas from the movies. For this one, I don't know if Goku qualifies as a core unit because he's definitely not needed necessarily on the team, but it does help. He doesn't heal the team, but he has max HP buff for the team, which is really nice. You do need him at more than average stars, right? So he is, as indicated by the pink icon right there, you don't want him just at 7 stars, especially not below 7 stars. Gotenks still is here for the amazing support right here. I don't have the red LF metal cooler. Easily be amended by putting in the Beast Gohan, and then this blue Beast Gohan is on both teams. That's how good he is. He's always on both teams. And then you have this Piccolo up here. He's a pseudo healer. He only has like a 1% heal, but he has really good support. Backup units do include the EX Cooler / Thouser combo. That is a really deadly combo. It's really nice. If you are going to use that Thouser, make sure you do have at least 1 cooler on the team. Alright, so this is the next team right here, LOE. I don't think this team formation has changed in so long right here, right? Like, it's literally the same explanation every time. So you have a stun with this Frieza, you have a stun with the red Frieza, you have a stun with the Zenkai Cooler, all turn 1 stuns right there, right? So 3 stuns right off rip is insane. Core unit with this chilled max base HP right there, and then you have Revival Frieza is also acting, so a core unit plus a healer unit, right? So that's really good. So this unit doesn't buff max base HP, but it does have the heal and the revival, making making him a staple on the Lineage of Evil team as well as the Frieza Force team. And then you have your damage dealer of this Golden Glizzy right here. We've already talked about him a little bit. Keep him on a yellow tile at all times. He's going to get that guaranteed blue card, turn it into the ultimate, guaranteed debuffs. Turn 4 gets another blue card, turns into the ultimate as long as there's 2 or more enemies alive on the 4th turn. And then boost units, just Metal Cooler, and then this EX Frieza right here. This is a blast based team, so make sure you set that guy over to blast. Alright, so next we do have basically the inverse of LOE. We have Frieza Force. This is also a blast based team. So you don't have triple stuns here, but you do have double stuns. You have this purple Frieza stun, turn 1, red Frieza turn 1 stun. Oh my goodness. Golden Glizzy with the double super attack potentially, right? At least, so turn 1 gets the super attack. Keep him on a yellow tile, turn that super into the ultimate, and then start of the 4th turn, if there's 2 or more enemies remaining, get another blue card, turn it into the ultimate automatically. Core unit Naval, also boost unit. This guy is a healer and he supports the entire block, bro, the entire board, which is huge. And then Revival Frieza, also healer slash core unit, is able to have the revive mechanic as well, just in case. And then you have the free-to-play Broly, who's giving blast phase debuffs. He's handing them out like candy, which is really nice. And then boost unit, you do have Raspberry and you have the Ginyu Goku. There's a ton of boost units to replace from 2. You see the Goku down there, the Super Saiyan Goku. I know he's not a Frieza Force, he never would be a Frieza Force member, but he does buff the Planet Namek Saga tag, so he can be used here if needed. So next we have Saiyans. This is going to be the blast team right here. So for boost units, you do have the red Turles. You make sure to set him over to blast because he is automatically set to strike. And then you have the Kaba and you have the Vegeta right here, right? So you have 4 boost units right here. If you wanted to take out one of the boost units and replace them with more of like someone like a damage dealer, that's entirely up to you. That's okay. This guy is going to be your healer to the left and to the right of him, as indicated by the icon right there. Raditz gets a guaranteed blue card turn 1. He is a little bit slow though, so you have to play around that, right? So he's going to probably attack last because of his low key restore speed. And then you have the UI Goku, who's able to he has the dodge mechanic. You have this Broly, who's also a staple on the Frieza Force team since he's able to give out those blast-based debuffs. Cab is doing the same thing, and then this Vegeta is also doing something similar with his debuffs as well. And as you can see, I do not have the tag unit Vegeta Trunks. Tag units are incredibly valuable. If you have the tag units, definitely use them. I don't have them, so I probably would opt for Bardock here, or if you have the Ultra UI Goku, that works as well, or even the Zenkai Bardock, the Evo Vegeta. There's actually a good amount of options for yellows here. Alright, so next we do have the strike based version of Saiyans, which is incredibly powerful. So boost unit, you do have this Goku right here. Make sure you do set him over to strike for this team in particular. He's going to be your healer unit, boost unit. You have Broly for boost, you have this Goku for boost right here. This guy's actually really good too, because he's able to get, I believe it's 50% to his special move gauge a fight, so he's getting his super every other fight, which is very nice. Kid Goku's doing the same thing here with that 50% every fight. And then you have this guy who's going to get a guaranteed super on turn 3. This guy gets a guaranteed super on turn 2, and then the Gogetas are just really good here. If you wanted to kind of like transform this into a fusions team, you definitely can do that as well. This is going to be your best bet. You get this guy out of here, and then you put on the red VB, and then you could even like get this guy out of here and put on the fusing Vegito if you want. Like if you really wanted a fusion team, you can do it. Alright, so this is the regeneration team that we are going to be using for the season right here. So it looks a little bit different from the graphic, of course. So for core unit, nothing gets changed with Super Baby 2. That dude's always going to be your core unit. You cannot run this team without him. You can, if I'm being completely honest with you. Of course you can run the team without him, and with success. But he's just so damn good. It's like, why would you? It's like shooting yourself in the foot, right? And I mean, unless you're just going purely and utterly for points, he's just fantastic, a phenomenal unit. And then for your boost units, you do have typically you have the yellow EX Piccolo. I want to try out the cooler. I haven't used him in a long time. I think I used him like maybe once or twice entirely. I have him at friendship rank 10. I have him at 7 stars. I want to try him out. So we're going to be using him. We're going to be using this green Zenkai Piccolo over here. Make sure you set him over to blast. We're going to use we have a lot of greens actually. So we have the DKP right here, and we have the Parasite Trunks, and we do have the Zenkai Zamasu again. Set him over to blast. Zenkai Zamasu is... I think he's going to be the permanent unit on here now for the red spot, right? Red 21, 100% still usable, but this guy's just better. and it's going to help out a lot more if you have them. And then of course you have Bootangs for your guaranteed super attack, and then I have Garlic Jr. right here to avoid any stuns, right? So that's going to be huge, plus just having a good range of support, just a good purple in general. Alright, so next we do have the Taunthan team right here. So we have a healer unit of this Goku right here, healing to the left and to the right of him. We have the core unit of Taunthan. That is the, well, he basically is the name of the team right there, is the Taunthan team, right? So he mitigates all damage on turn 1. Everyone focuses on him, so you always do want a healer next to him. You actually have 2 healers here. I forgot to include Goten as with the healer icon, because he is healing allied Gohan and Goku characters 1 time by 2%. Boost unit is this Kid Gohan over here. Set him over to strike. And then you also have this boost unit, a really good boost unit over here with this guy's getting 50% every turn. This guy's also getting 50% every turn. Beast Gohan just doing Beast Gohan things, and then this Goku getting a guaranteed super on turn 2. So next we have the Blast version of GT core unit, Super Baby 2. That is your guaranteed healer right here, your designated healer. And then you also have this guy on backup right here. He has great support. You have this Vegeta on backup. He has debuffs. Tag unit, just powerhouse overall. You get the Zenkai buff for the tag unit with this guy right here. Plus, you know, the Zenkai units are just great to have just because they're stat whores, right? You just want them to live. Set this guy over to Blast because it's a Blast based team. This guy's phenomenal. He has great debuffs, great support, all that good stuff. And then this guy right here, this guy has damage cut, and he's dishing out some decent debuffs, so we do like him a lot. He's better than the new Sin Shenron that just came out, who's one of the new characters gonna be in the new tab, and he's included in the graphic too. So next we have the GT Strike Edition right here. So of course Baby is going to remain on here. You're gonna want to send him over to Strike right here. This Kid Goku is going to getting that 50% each fight. You have Gogeta doing Gogeta. He has a universal cover change, which is going to be pretty helpful. You have this guy for Zenkai stats. You have the tag unit once again. You have this guy. You're gonna go ahead and send him over to Strike. Really good support, really good debuffs. And then for backup units, you have this guy. Set him over to Strike. Really good support. And then this guy, he is a melee unit already, and he has a bubble shield, so he can have damage mitigation. Plus he's going to be getting Zenkai buffed by this guy right here, which is going to be nice. Alright, so next we have the event exclusive tag right here. Everyone should be 14 stars. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We do have the Pui Pui for your core unit. This is a blast based team, by the way, so any unit that's not blast based, I don't think anyone over here is set to anything but blast, thankfully, so you don't have to really worry about that. But you have the core unit of this guy who's buffing the max base HP of event exclusive. You have this guy who's being a healer for an event exclusive and having a board wide support for the team. This 18 over here is a pseudo healer, isn't necessarily a core unit, but can heal her allies, which is good. Debuffs from Goku Black, debuffs from this guy, general support from this guy. You do want him in the middle slot. Look at that range right there. And then support units, Raspberry, and the Metal Cooler, or well, boost units. So next team we have, or this is going to be the final tag that we have, is going to be the Hybrid Saiyans. For your core unit, you have Pan, buffing the max base HP right here. Make sure all these units are set to Strike, by the way. And then for your boost units, you do have this purple Gohan, and then you have the Zenkai Trunk. Zenkai units are always nice right here. You do have this purple Gohan revival unit, really good. Actually, I forgot to add the healing icon to this guy as well. He does have a heal for the team, surprisingly, only by 1%. Right, a 1% heal, so it's not the best thing in the world, but you don't have to have him in any specific position. And at the start of the 3rd turn, you automatically get it. That's pretty nice in my opinion. This Beast Gohan, just great. This Fat Gotenks has amazing support. This Gotenks has the ability to double attack. I think it's a guarantee to double attack, actually, too. Yeah, 100% to double attack, so pretty good. Has really even stats. That's why he's able to fit onto the Strike and the Blast team. Same thing with this Gohan, similar stats, but this guy, he gets a guaranteed blue card after mitigating a Strike Arts, which is really, really good, really powerful. And now the inverse of it, we have the Blast version. So Pan is still going to remain right here as one of your core units. Obviously now you're going to swap her over to Blast. That's your max HP buffer. The Gotenks, make sure to set to Blast, and then you have the you just basically set everyone to Blast here. Just set everyone to Blast. But you have the Gotenks support. You have the Ultimate Gohan right here. You have this Gohan on backup for your boost unit. This Zenkai Gohan on backup for your boost unit. If you don't feel comfortable running that Zenkai EX Gohan, you can just go into S tier and just swap him out with the Zenkai Sparking version, right? You're still going to be getting that 30% regardless. This is actually a 40% boost, so it's going to help out your points a little bit more. And if you don't have that revival or the Ultra Gohan, of course, that's when you put in the revival Gohan, but this Ultra Gohan is really, really damn good. I really like that Ultra Gohan a lot. And then Beast Gohan on both teams because of pretty decent stat spread and just a great unit overall. And for the final segment of the video, we're going to be taking a look at Majin, well, the new units. But first, Majin Vegeta, Q restore speed's actually really good at 2,425. Has the blue card, has the ultimate available. At the start of the battle, 100% to damage inflicted, 15% to damage cut, and 15% to special move gauge charge rate. And if you're going against the Goku unit, you upgrade your special move arts automatically and 30% to your ultimate damage inflicted. On attack, you heal yourself by 1% up to 3 times, 10% to damage inflicted, and 15% to key recovery cannot be cancelled. So you're probably going to be attacking first on your teams, and before receiving a blast art, you automatically counter it. And then at the start of the starter turn, 3 enemies or less remaining, you activate your green card. Upon activating that green card, you get 30% to own special move damage, or you get 30% to own special move gauge, 10% to all enemies, or minus 10% to all enemy special move gauges, inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 10% to damage inflicted. And at the end of turn, if your own health is 50% or below, you restore your health by 2%, activates 1 time, 15% to damage inflicted, cannot be cancelled, and minus 5% to damage received, cannot be cancelled, and cancels attribute downgrades. This is for Majin Buu Saga for the Ultra ability. All allies get 5% to special move gauge. Start the battle per allied episode Majin Buu Saga, 5% to damage inflicted, 5% to key recovery, and you inflict heavy bleed for on your enemies upon strike arts. So yeah, pretty crazy. Has a really good stat spread too, I believe. So does fit on both teams. I think I did indicate that on the graphic as well. Yeah, 272 versus 268. That's pretty even. So next we have the new Goku Mini, because we needed another Goku Mini. Are you guys excited for the next Goku Mini? He's gonna have a green card AoE that like slightly turns Super Saiyan for those who know. So maximum stats on this guy, pretty even, so it can fit on both teams right there. Key restore speed super low though. Has a blue card and the ultimate. First ability, 70% to damage inflicted, 15% to damage cut. Start a turn if there are 6 allies remaining, which is pretty much going to be all the time if you're running this guy, hopefully. 10% to damage inflicted and 10% to key recovery, so helps out a little bit right there. At the end of the turn, own health is 60% or below. You activate your green card. Upon activating it, you get 3% heal. Cancels attribute downgrade and normal conditions. And then before receiving a blast arts, has a health gated cover change for allies in the 4 corners. And on receiving an attack against unfavorable element, you get minus 10% to own damage received instantly. Activates 1 time. You inflict enemy with attribute downgrade minus 15% to damage inflicted. Activates once. Inflict enemy with attribute downgrade minus 15% to key recovery. Activates once, and it will activate even if the ally performs a cover change. According to battle turn, oh my god, they give this guy an essay. So first turn, 5% to special move damage inflicted and 5% to special move gauge. Second turn, 5% to special move damage inflicted and 5% to special move gauge. Third turn, 10% to special move damage and 10% to special move gauge. Fourth turn, 15% to special move damage and 15% to special move gauge. Actually pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, pretty good kit. I can see this guy getting some playtime for sure. And last but not least, Glorio. I honestly don't think it's even worth talking about this guy because he's not going to fit on any tags, bro. Like, I have a feeling that this guy's going to be like high tier because he doesn't fit on anything. Like, he has 2 tags and it's Diamond and Weapon Wielder. Those tags are stuck in hell for now, at least, right? But does have the blue card and the ultimate arts. Key restore speed 2209. First ability, 80% to damage inflicted, 15% to blast damage inflicted, 20% to damage cut, and 5% to key recovery. Started the second turn, 15% to damage inflicted, 30% to health restoration, and cancel attribute downgrades. And at the end of the turn, allies in range, so it's the 4 corners, 5% to damage inflicted by tag Daima or tag Weapon Wielder, and 5% to damage inflicted for 1 turn, 5% to key recovery for 1. See, like, that's already, like, we don't even have that many Daima, like, members in the game. And the Weapon Wielders aren't all that great either. Has a strike arts cover change, health gated by 30%. On receiving an attack, all enemies get inflicted with attribute downgrade 5% to damage, minus 5% to damage inflicted, plus 5% to damage received, plus 5% to blast damage received, and it'll activate even on a cover change. On blast arts, attack 10% to damage inflicted for 2 turns, 20% to critical rate for 1 turn, and 3% to special move gauge. I mean, he's not a bad unit. It's just that his teams are abysmal right now. I didn't even realize that he would be a core unit for the Daima tag. I guess once we get all the Daima units, are you guys gonna make me make a graphic for the Daima tag? Like, be honest. All right, so that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hopefully this did help you, and you can expect part 1 of the video coming out on Sunday or Monday, either of those two. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.